Hello guys, today we are going to see about the Angular. So in this session I'll be going to cover basic things about the Angular, like how to create Angular project, then what are the prerequisite to create the Angular project. Apart from that, I'll be going to show you one demo application. So where I'll create one navbar and I'll show you the how internally contents are rendered on UI. So let's start here. So I'll start from the project creation part, and to create the project we require the Node.js here. So when we install the Node.js, we'll get one command prompt. Okay. So here this is a command prompt, and by using this command prompt we can create the our project. So on this command we have to hit the command like ng new and project name. So this is a project name. So here as a part of project name, so you can enter anything as per your requirement. So this command will create the project for you with the basic structure of Angular project. When we create this project, if you want to check whether that project is working fine or not, so in that case you have to run that application. So to run that application there is a command. This command is used to run your Angular application. That command is ng serve. Okay, or ng yes as well you can put. So this is a command which is used to uh, serve your application or execute your application. So I have created one application, demo application, by using this command. So let me write this command with our proper one, like I'll give the demo app which I created. So this is the application, so I created with this command here. Okay, so now I'm going to execute or run this application by using this command. Okay, let me open the terminal here, and first let me comment this code, because if I execute this application with this code line, so it will not execute. Okay, let me start application by using the ng serve. If I write ng yes or ng serve, see the application starting process here. So like see that the application has been started and compiled successfully as well. And if you want to see that application content, so you can just, so there is a URL. So http colon double slash localhost colon. So this is a port, like port 200. This is by default port whenever you execute your application by using the ng serve. Then this that application takes this default port, that is the port 200. If you click on here, then you will get this application here like this. So this is the icon, then this is the demo app, and this is the basic structure. So this is provided by the Angular CLI. So see, let's see about the Angular CLI. So whenever we hit this command ng new demo app, so internally Angular CLI creates the basic structure, file structure of Angular project for us. Okay, so what are the files Angular CLI provided to us? Some configurations file, some default component, and some starting point of files. Okay, so I'll be going to show you those files details as well here. So if you see here, so these are the files which are generated by the Angular CLI here. Okay, because of this command, so ng new demo one. So if you can see here, dot angular, idea, vs code, and node models as well here. So I'll explain you why these node models and what is the use of this node model here. So let's talk further here. This is a src. Under the src, app will be there. Inside the app, component files are there. Apart from that, assets, suppose you want to render some images on UI, some icons on UI. So in that case, you have to keep these details inside the asset folder. This is icon. If you can see, when I started that application, and when I execute like hit this URL on this browser. So if you can see in this tab, this is a icon. Okay, so this icon takes from here. This icon is displayed on this tab. Apart from that, index.html will be there. So this is a main HTML file where all components getting rendered. Apart from that, this is a main.ts file. This is a starting point of your application. Okay, and this is a global style sheet where like common styles can be returned here. So we can return some common or default style sheet, so which is applicable for others as well. Okay, apart from that, so there are other configurations files as well. So the most important files are two: this angular.json and package.json. So let me explain you what are the uses of those files. So first is a angular.json. So mainly this file contains the project architecture. Okay, I created the demo app, and this angular.json file contains the architecture of this demo application. Okay, so in architecture, what are the things are configured here? So if you can see here, these two files. So from this file, mainly our angular app gets started, and from here all components, HTML components and CSS components are getting rendered, and whole application will get displayed on our web page. So basically, Angular is used to create the single page application. That means whatever code we return, those codes get rendered on a single page and displayed on a browser. So we are not creating a different pages here. So internally Angular will shift all code on a single page and display it on a your browser. So that is the use of this index.html. So that angular.json file, in all code will get rendered internally and displayed on a single page on a browser. So that is the use of the angular.json. So mainly this is a basic configuration things. So there is a ts config app json. Then if you can see here, this is a asset. I already told you asset folders contains the picture details, some media details, some photos and all things. So this contains. Then apart from that, if you can check here, this is a style sheet. Suppose if you want to add some other style sheet, some cdn and all things, so in that case you can add those style sheet as well here. So but by default it contains it like src slash style sheet dot scss here. So mainly the angular.json file, as I told you, angular.json file contains the architecture level details about your Angular application. Then here some indicators are there: build optimizer, optimization, vendor chunk, and all these details. Then source map and all these details are configured here. Apart from that, there is a main.ts file. Okay, so this file is responsible to start your Angular app. Okay, so I'll show you the flow, how it works. Apart from that, there is a package.json file. Okay, so how package.json file works? In our Java, there is a pom.xml file. Okay, you can relate this pom.xml file with your package.json file. In a pom.xml file, we configured all dependencies details. Okay, and those dependencies get downloaded by the Maven build tool. Same thing, you can relate this here as well. Package.json file is contains the dependency detail. Whatever dependencies required by Angular app, as per our requirement, we can add those dependencies. This is the format, this is the name of the dependency, and this is the version of the dependency. So you have to put your dependency details in this format. Okay, and these dependencies are downloaded by npm. You know, like npm is the node package manager. So npm will be there, npm. in in our maven project, there is a maven build, so which is used to download your dependencies from remote repository to local repository. Same work does by npm here. Npm download the libraries dependencies whatever we configured inside the package.json file. Okay, so that's a thing. But there is a difference. Maven and npm is Maven downloads the dependencies from remote repository to local repository in m2 folder. But npm downloads the dependency or libraries in node hyphen model named folder here. So this is a folder which is responsible to contains all libraries, all dependencies which are downloaded by npm. npm stands for Node Package Manager. So this is a mainly used to install the all libraries. Suppose in the case I want to add some dependencies here. Okay, I want to add some dependency here. Suppose I want to add some chart support for your application. So you can update that dependency with their version, and simply on your terminal you can do like a npm install. So this command will install your latest added dependency from your package.json file. Okay, that is the basic funda of npm here. Apart from that, so this is log file. So this log file contains the details of the packages which are getting downloaded by npm. So that contains the details and path and all things. So uh, don't mind here. Let's start from the main.ts file here. So this is the starting point. How it works? So first, whenever we start your application, internally it finds the path of the main file from the angular.json file. So in angular.json file, we configured the path of the main file. So this is the main file, and we configured it like src slash main.ts file. That means we configured it here. Why? So internally Angular CLI takes this path and start your Angular app. And once we started your Angular application, it will bootstrap your main model. What is your main model? So this is app model is your main model. So if you render here, so you can see this is a TS file structure. TS is nothing but your TypeScript. So you have to learn first TypeScript, and then you have to look in a Angular first. Okay. So whenever you are going to learn Angular, so you have to first learn JavaScript, and on top of JavaScript, TypeScript will be there. So then you will get the TypeScript, how TypeScript works and all things. So you have to learn TypeScript. So this is the main component. So which is declared with a ng model. So this is a directive. So mainly nothing but an annotation. So this is to declare your model and all things. So you have to use this at the rate ng model, and inside this ng model you have to declaration. Declarations are nothing but your components. Components are nothing but a HTML code and CSS code, something like this. So which is formed inside the bundle. So this is app component is the bundle of the four files. Okay. So component contains the four files. That means HTML file, CSS file, then TS file, and there is a one other file will be there. So that is, yeah, there are testing file. Okay, so this four file contains by this app component. That means this is a bundle of files, file component. Okay, so this is declaration under the import. So suppose if you want to get the support of other models as well. Suppose if you want to perform some connectivity with your APIs, then you have to configure, you have to import a HTTP model. Okay, suppose if you want to deal with your forms and all things, so you have to import the reactive forms, then form models as well. So there are different models you have to put here. Apart from that, if you want to configure some services, so you can put here. And here is the main thing. So when we go here, like from here, it will bootstrap the main model. Okay, once main model get bootstrap, so this tag will get executed, and from this tag, so it will bootstrap your app component. App component is nothing but your main bunch of codes. Okay, so like bunch of codes is nothing but it contains the, so every component contains the three files. Okay, two files. The major files are two, like template and style sheet. Suppose this component, app component, contains the HTML file and CSS file, which are rendered to the HTML file, HTML dot like index.html file here. Okay, so let's talk about the app.component file. So from the app model, so your app.component get rendered. You can see here from this app model, we are bootstrapping your main component file. So you can customize app component as well. So if you want to bootstrap some other component here, you can do as well. So this is the default configuration given by the CLI. So don't worry, you can customize as well here. So main thing you have to keep in your mind, our Angular applications will get started from the main.ts file. From the main.ts file, main model will get bootstrapped, that been initialized. So that is app model. You can give your other models as well here. So if you want to create new models, you can create your new models as well. And from your model, you are going to bootstrap the main component. And in main component, we are configuring the two files. One is the HTML file related to that component, and CSS file related to that particular component. Okay, so this is a basic structure of your Angular project, and let's start creating the component and services now. So to create the component, okay, so let me open the terminal here, and to create the component, we have to add one command, or we have to hit one command here, like ng generate. Okay, generate, you can put the generate as well here, or else you can put the G as well, and C for component, like component as well. So you can put full word as well, but I'm going to show you the shortcut here. And if you want to create component here, like ng generate component, so I want to create navbar here. Okay, navbar, let me generate it. So it takes time, it will create the four files. And it, so see, you can see here as well. So it creates the HTML file, it creates the spec file. This is used to this is kind of used for write some unit test cases for particular component. So for that component, like navbar component, apart from that you can find the TS file, apart from that you can find the SCS file. Okay, and again one more activity happened at that time of creating that navbar. So that is, it is updating the app dot main model, that app dot model. So if you can see here, app dot model, So there is a navbar component get registered. Okay, that navbar component will get registered whenever we create the new component. Automatically this 5 event will get triggered. One is for update, four is for create. Okay, so let's start the designing. So how internally contents or HTML codes will get one single page, that is the HTML index.html page. That means, so if you can see here, this is the app root project, okay, file. So here is the selector, so you can use the selector to render the your HTML code. Suppose I want to render the app component to the index.html. So I have added the this selector. So which selector? Inside this component we configure this selector app root, and you can render this app root here. And what I want to do here, inside this app root I want to render the navbar. So I created this. Okay, if you can open this one now. So this is nav. So I want to render this. Let me open the ts file. I want to render this selector to the main component. What is the main component here? Like main component is your app.component, so which is nothing but a main component. But here this is a default code, so you can delete this default code which is generated by your that angular CLI. So see, you can, this is the selector app root and uh, app navbar. Okay, so you can give the name here. Now what happens, so I'll give you the context here what is happening. So this navbar component get rendered to app component here, huh? And that app component render to index dot here. So that app root is rendered here, and inside the app root we render the navbar here. This is the navbar we render here. Okay, so that is the basic things. Don't too much like think how it happens and all things. So you just have to follow the process, and once you follow the process you will get proper idea how what is component, how internally it renders the HTML contents. Okay, so I'll be going to create one navbar in. Okay, so let's start the coding here. Okay, so I want to write some HTML code for the to create the navbar. Okay, so this is the navbar HTML file. Let me open that navbar HTML. So let's start the code here. Div. So this is a top container which contains the navbar container. So this is the main class. I'll open the CSS file as well for this component here in a right side panel. Then it will be easy to write the CSS and HTML as well. So, and simultaneously I'll show you the result how it happens. So this is a navbar container. I'll give it here. So why I select the yes CSS here, I'll show you the difference here, CSS and yes CSS. So what I want to do here, I want to, when I use the CSS, then I cannot write the class inside the class. Okay, so like this. So suppose this is a top level class and I want to create some um, internal classes here as well. Suppose this is a top level class and I'll create the internal div, and I'll give the some navbar as a class name. So if you can see here, I can write this in a structural way. When I use yes css only, so I cannot do like this. But when I use yes css, so I can able to write this. Okay, when I use css, there may be a chance to impact other html models. Okay, and if I use specific classes, suppose, then when I use this navbar, so this changes whatever css I written here now, so those changes only affected or only reflected on this div, not other, because I written this css language or css code for only child class of this navbar container. Okay, this will not impacted to other component or other html code. So that is the main things behind using the scss here. Okay, so when I use, let me create some menu here, like a div like home. I'll create a home, then I'll create a services, or I'll, okay, services. I'll create, let me create some contact or about something. Then after that, I'll create a contact at the last. Sorry, contact. Okay. So these are the sub menus of or main menus of your navbar: home, services, and contact. So let's start your application and let's observe the contents how rendered to your application before applying some css on your content navbar. Let me start this project. So let's wait for 1 minute. Let it start. Yeah, something going wrong here. Unexpected style sheet. Oh, sorry. I have added something else in style sheet. So let me remove this. Again, one more thing I just remember here. So whenever I press Control S, so automatically server will get restarted or reloaded, sorry, not restarted, and our changes will get reflected on your browser. Okay, no need to restart your server here. Okay, and one more thing, you have to, before writing any css code in angular, you have to remove the default browser based padding and margin. Okay, so how to remove it? So you have to apply this to whole page. Okay, for that I have written the star. Star means for all tags or for all selectors it will be applicable. Like this, margin I'll give 0 and I'll give padding as a 0. And if you want to represent your components in a box sizing like this, so like box sizing border box, you have to put like a box sizing as a border box. So this is a default css code which is applicable for all components whatever we are returning. Okay, so now if you want to check the output on a browser, let me check the what is port. This is port on which our application get rendered. Okay, see, now without css our contains looking like this: home, services, about, and contact. And let's give some css to those contents. So I'll give some css to this. See, I'll create a flex of this home, services, and about first. Okay, I'll create a display flex. When we give the like display flex, then it is like displaying in a one line. Why? as you know, like when you see some banners are there, if you go out and you can see some banners, some birthday banners and all things. So in that banner, you if you can see, like there are multiple photos are there, so those are shifted and properly in a manner, like some that there is midline as well, and all things properly manner and managed. So same thing will be here. So to display our content in a proper manage or proper manner, so in that case you have to make that div, okay, make that div as a flex. Okay, you have to display that div as a flex, then you will get the that content in a one line. So I displayed those content as a flex. Now I want to give the some height for this navbar. Let me give it. So I'll give a height for this navbar or something. mm, 45 pixel in a pixel. So we are not going to see any here, but let me give the background color as a black. Then you can able to see the, yeah, see, you can able to see the uh, like height 45 pixel for this navbar. And let me give the some color for the text as a white. Correct. Now if you can observe here, so the contents, whatever menus are there, which are aligned at top, I want to align those content in the middle. Okay, in the middle of the navbar. That means in the mid of the site. Mid of the site, nothing but 40 to 22.5 something pixel I want to display it. So you can do like a justify content, sorry, not justify, like align item as a center. If I do like this, so this you can see, so this is aligned at 22.5 pixel, half of the height. Okay, that's it. Now let's give uh, some margin, padding, some properties we can apply on this content as well here. So let's give some first give the padding here. Padding I'll give 10 pixel. See, okay. So okay, let's give for div padding 10 pixel. You can see now all contents will get uh, like divided with some spaces, so because we are giving the padding for those contents. Okay, now let's give some font size, like uh, one rim. So rim is one of the measurement sign, like pixel and all things, so you can give like this. So and after that you can give the font family as well. So for the looking, let me give the Arial and give me the uh, space. This is my favorite one. See, home, services, about, and contact here. Apart from that, what we can do here, we can give some pointer, like, so when we uh, over on that, like over on that items menus, so our cursor size need to be changed here. Like we can give something cursor pointer when we give it now. So when we just over on it, so our cursor size, our cursor will get changed like this. See, easily you can click here. Suppose you want to do it on over one now. So okay, no need to do like this. Okay, so this is the basic way to create the Angular application, guys. And this is a way to create the render the content. So if you can see here, I'll show you now the content how renders. So I return code inside the navbar component in that files. But if you can see here on this element tag, so you can see this code reside inside the body tag. So here app root will be there. Under the app root, we added your engine navbar. Under the engine navbar, you can see div like navbar container, and you can see this navbar, and inside the navbar we added our menus, home, services, and all things. So that means first this app root rendered into your HTML file, that means index.html file. After that, your app navbar component will get rendered to your HTML, and inside their content as well rendered to your HTML. That means that's why for Angular application we are calling Angular application. So we are using Angular to create the single page application. Okay, it is a single page application. That's why we said. Yeah, thank you guys. That is the basic things. You can follow this session to create your application and to render your code to your application. Thank you guys. Thank you.